focus. Ideate, innovate, enable. Forbes India presents Reimagining Enterprises with Data Cloud, partnered with Snowflake.
Hello and welcome to Forbes India present Reimagining Enterprises with Data Cloud, powered by Snowflake. My name is Manu Balachandran, and joining me in today's discussion are Mr. Shiv Kumar Bhasin, Group Chief Technology and Operations Officer at National Stock Exchange, and Mr. Vimal Venkatram, Managing Director, Snowflake India. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. The past 2 years have been life-changing for many of us. COVID-19 has wreaked damage like we've never seen before. But on the flip side, it has also led to a fresh lease of life for the data economy, with organizations big and small moving online and adopting cloud like never before. India's digital transformation is expected to create an economic value of $1 trillion by 2025. But while data economy continues to grow, its pace is also stifled by the barriers built into legacy and cloud solutions that silo data across enterprises. In today's digital age, financial services firms are under pressure to meet shifting regulatory requirements, scale digital platforms, and innovate against emerging competitors, all while navigating an increasingly complex data landscape. On that note, let me begin today's discussions with comments from Vimal on how cloud is transforming the banking and financial services industry.
We constantly get asked, how is cloud transforming the banking and financial services industry? And we really start with data is the fuel of the financial services industry today, powering everything from retail banking transactions to insurance claims and also to online payments. And as a result of this, the financial services industry is one of those sectors where you have the most heavily invested technology platforms, right from data management, data integration solutions, cloud infrastructure solutions, application modernization layers, and all of these different technology stacks. And despite the importance of data and the significant investments made in data management, financial institutions today are very challenged with leveraging this massive volume of information at their disposal to really gain insights and improve decision making. Now, data silos is a real problem in many financial services industries today. And this really is caused by disparate legacy systems and strict data privacy regulations, for example, preventing quick access to high quality information. Now, today, by utilizing Snowflake's data cloud, financial sectors, companies in the financial services sector today can gain the performance, simplicity, flexibility, concurrency needed to leverage and monetize vast amounts of valuable untapped data. We call this today the financial services data cloud, and that is really what is helping many of the world's leading financial services institutions embrace these challenges and evolve their business. And it's what is the financial services data cloud? It is a connected network that enables financial services firms to thrive in a data intensive, highly regulated, and competitive environment with the help of Snowflake's platform capabilities.
Mr. Bhasin, let me come to you. What has been your data strategy, and how have you been leveraging cloud data to accelerate your organization's transformation and create more revenue streams?
See, data for the stock exchange is the really the key. Means whether we call it oil, we call it fuel, or we call it total bread and butter for this line of business. And it has been the case since mid 90s, when the stock exchanges have digitized or converted themselves from the floor trading to electronic trading. But over a period of time, the volumes of the the orders and trades, the growth of the capital market have been exponentially very high, and in spite of all this high growth, we are just having only 2% of the the bankable population participating into the capital market. But still, the amount of data which we are adding to the all our repositories, it is in the tune of anywhere from 2 to 3 petabytes of data which we have generated so far since the mid 90s to now. So now, given that huge volume of data which we are handling, And because of a lot of regulatory guidance, where we have to distribute the market data free of cost to the market, but we are looking at how to monetize the data. And to go towards that, we are planning to leverage the cloud solutions. Some of the examples have been where we used to provide to the market researchers the data based on their offline request, and we have made that process completely online last year. And where it is also cloud hosted process, where people can come in, apply for the request for the data, and what period of the data, what are the attributes, which asset classes they want to evaluate. So all those requirements can be given real time online, and within a few hours, without compromising the data security. And this all is done using cloud. So we further extended, we encouraged with this approach, and we have been working on towards migrating our some of the data analytics loads to the cloud, where we have challenges. The regulator needs the turnaround time for fulfilling their analytics needs, in a couple of hours, not running into a couple of months, which was the scenario in a on-prem, based warehouse repositories or data repositories. Uh, and that is where we are finding the cloud transforming the data. And
Right.
our core strategy is that provide the API services to the market participants, where the real time analytics can be supported, and it can be monetized as a value added service.
Vimal, how does the financial services data cloud help financial service organization revolutionize how they use data to drive business growth and deliver better customer experience?
Now, financial institutions today are embarking on digital transformation journeys and migrating to the cloud, like we just spoke about. And these strategies help them maintain a competitive edge during tough economic times and enable them to comply with the highly fragmented global regulatory standards. And if I look at a cloud data stack like Snowflake, what kind of a foundation and what kind of use cases are real customers adopting with the introduction of a stack like Snowflake? We can talk about, for example, point number one is better customer experience. The cloud today offers companies the opportunity to house all their various types of data in one secure place, enabling them to personalize services for their customers. Now, our cloud platform, or data cloud as we call it, offers a single governed location for all types of data. Now, this could be your traditional, transactional data, could be clickstream data, could be even third-party data for that matter, and we can ingest all of the data from new sources such as IoT devices or sensors, for example. Now,
Hmm.
this today enables organizations to gain a 360-degree view of the customer behaviors and also their preferences from multiple inputs. Now, obviously, a full customer view is really the fundamental for a successful personalization strategy, because that is really what enables organizations today to pinpoint high value customers and ensure they have the best possible customer experience at every single touch point. The second, definitely what we are seeing is new sources of revenue. Now, today, as any technology investment, data cloud like Snowflake today offers the customers a direct and secure way of sharing data, for example, without the complexity, cost, or even risk associated with legacy data warehouses. Now, today, because it's so much simpler and it's a phenomenal way for sharing data, companies today can quickly and easily add new data products. For example, you could offer a standalone data product to data consumers, and this could lead to substantial revenue. And third, I think is a very, very important point, more so in the financial services sector, is mitigated fraud and risk. A cloud data platform that can ingest and analyze various types of data can really form the front line of defense against cyber threats or even fraudsters. Snowflake today has pretty much near unlimited and automatic scalability We have very, very low costs from a storage standpoint. And financial services institutions today can store multi-petabyte data, of historical data, index all their cybersecurity, anti-fraud, and machine and customer generated data as well. Now, you could also use them for advanced data analytics, enhanced detection rules, for example, and also be more prepared for future threats.
Mr. Bhasin, let me bring you here. What critical sources of value are enabled by cloud transformation? And how are you using data to innovate in this age of disruption?
See, there are very innovative cloud solutions in place, like Snowflake, where we are a group of multiple MIIs. One is the exchange, other is clearing corporation, third is the data company, and we have some investments into the some of the startups for the data distribution companies as well. So what we are looking at, that all these organizations can have their data repositories hosted on the cloud, where they are in line with the regulatory requirement to remain these data repositories in sufficient privacy, sufficient isolation levels of the data. But at the same time, they can share the data and share the insights and arrive at a overall analytics for the full life cycle of a order to the trade and the settlement completely at one place, and as well as sharing these insights with the data distribution companies, data distribution hubs, which are domestic markets and international markets. They are available, arriving at some of those areas of collaboration with other data companies. So some of these are the critical sources where we are focusing on the cloud-driven data solution.
Right. Fascinating. Vimal, let me come back to you. How can financial enterprises join the data cloud and reap benefits of transacting with data, say, locally and globally?
As soon as a customer signs on to Snowflake in the financial services industry, they are part of our financial services data cloud. Now, when we talk to customers, and we talk to a lot of them as well, there are many, many ways in which, like I said even earlier, to really onboard new workloads. Could be in launching new products, for example, looking at how can I minimize my risk? How do I know my customers better? What kind of innovative data applications can I build on top of Snowflake, for example? And finally, most of our customers who are advanced in their data journey as well are also looking at how can we potentially monetize the data that we have within our organization as well. Now, this is exactly what we spoke about. I think Shiv spoke about that as well, is around how do organizations today securely share data. Now, this could be within their own business units, within a financial services institution, could be with their customers, could be with their partners in a very secure and governed manner. And most importantly, how can potentially that data also be shared with the regulators? Now, this is an amazing use case that Snowflake can really enable with our secure data sharing as well, where the regulator can have near instant real time access to the financial services company's data in a very, very secure and governed manner. And finally, when we talk about collaboration, in the data economy, collaboration is everything. It is extremely important for everyone to collaborate with each other. And today, organizations are realizing that only limiting themselves to first party data is really not enough. You need to have data from your suppliers, your partners, your contractors, your even customers, for example, and potentially also look at third party data sets. How can I now consume, let's say, weather data, demographic data? How do I even introduce financial services data sets into my data landscape to have much richer insights for decision making purposes? And this is exactly what the Snowflake data marketplace solves for a lot of our customers today.
Mr. Bhasin, to navigate an increasingly complex data landscape, enterprises really need to break down internal department silos and create a holistic customer profile. How are you using data to create personalized customer experiences?
So we have embarked on a digital transformation of the exchange, and we want to be the world's one of the best digital exchange in the world. And given this mandate, we have identified around 30 key journeys,
Okay.
which helps our key stakeholders, whether they are trading members, clearing members, custodians, or the business operations staff, uh, or the end investors. So, for transforming these journeys, the data plays a key role. Whether it is a corporate governance, whether it is a member services, whether it is a regulatory governance or inspection and audit, which are the various touch points exchange has with the market. And all these areas need deep analytics to tell you the a few things like very quick announcement from the boardrooms to the exchange and media, how it needs to be done in a super fast manner in a fraction of seconds. So all that, some of these kind of key journeys we are enabling using digital tools.
Understood. Data is also considered to be the currency of the digital age. They say it's the new oil. So, how is NSE sort of monetizing data, and what strategies and processes have you deployed here?
Uh, Definitely data is a key currency in the capital market and the BFSI world. Uh, about NSE, actually, we started so far with a small to moderate way. As I said earlier, that because the data, as per the local regulation, belongs to the market, so we have to distribute this data as a free of cost, which we have been doing so far. But we are working on the innovative ways to develop the some value added services for data analytics and hosting them as a API, which is one area we have started couple of months back. Now we are embarking on with the cloud-based technologies to set up the data hubs, and those data hubs will be exposing the some of the services, which will be called as a data API hub or the capital market API hub, which will be exposed to multiple stakeholders, be it is a fellow MIIs or the regulator like SEBI, similarly to the other market participants like trading members, clearing members, and the data companies, where the data collaboration can happen among all these stakeholders, as well as the analytics can be carried out. So the whatever the value added services which will be adding as part of this collaboration, that will be on a like a revenue sharing basis, or that is the opportunity where we are looking at monetizing that part of the service. So far we are moving towards that. But just to tell you again, we are, as per the Indian market, we have a low single digit revenue coming from the data streams.
Right.
Vis-a-vis the international exchanges have that revenue stream going as high as 30 to 40%. So we have to get there. So there is a lot of headroom to innovate in the data distribution and the advanced data analytics area, because a lot of market participants do not have a in-house skills of data scientists. So that is the one area where we want to tap, and the cloud technology is going to help us enabling these services much faster and bringing these services as a much lower cost to the Indian capital market.
Vimal, financial services firms are always under pressure to sort of meet shifting regulatory requirements. How can organizations sort of navigate their way, into that?
Now, when we look at regulatory requirements, our financial services data cloud enables compliance teams, for example, across the buy and sell side to streamline regulatory reporting requirements, like we just mentioned, with seamless data access, aggregation, and sharing across the front to back offices. Now, what we really help customers do is we simplify data management and automation, and that is exactly what is needed to aggregate and analyze data very, very quickly and frequently in order to meet regulatory reporting requirements as well. And in terms of security, Snowflake has best of breed security. Security was built from the grounds up. As far as Snowflake is concerned, it is not an afterthought. Right from data being encrypted at rest, data being encrypted in flight, ability for customers to bring their own encryption keys. We offer a whole vast range of security and compliance services to help financial services customers really safeguard their data. Things like dynamic data masking, role-based access control, all of these really help customers protect and safeguard their core asset, which is data. And if you look at it over the past decade, regulators have increased the reporting requirements for financial services institutions to validate compliance with risk standards, including capital, stress testing, and liquidity. But today, often these firms really struggle as far as a lot of their legacy data. This is decades of data which is present within their on-premise systems. And how complex is it to really comb through so many different sources of data? And also, sometimes you could be working with stale data, for example, and you could be manually creating report and spend excess time working with all of this data, and it may not be the right data that you're sharing or even the metrics that you're sharing with the regulators as well. Now, if you look at our data sharing capabilities across multi-cloud environments, teams no longer have to wait for any kind of reconciliation reports, for example. They can instead today seamlessly query their assets and liabilities across firms to really assess exposure in real time. And if I take the example of the payments industry, for example, that has also been transformed based on the changing needs of customers, providing faster, more seamless, for example, shopping and checkout experiences. Financial institutions today have had to modernize their payment systems and augment their solutions to remain more competitive. With Snowflake, these institutions today can modernize their payment systems while developing very, very strong governance measures and controls to ensure that they are compliant, resilient, and secure.
I think UPI is one of the biggest success stories to have emerged of late. Mr. Bhasin, Vimal also touched upon regulatory reporting. How is NSE leveraging data cloud to improve regulatory compliance and reporting?
As I said earlier, we are working on the data cloud to improve the SLA for regulatory reporting.
Right.
Regulator has a huge responsibility, and the NSE, like we are MII, we are also frontline the regulator. So we have a huge responsibility in terms of conducting the analytics as a market surveillance. And a lot of times the intensive analytics needs which keep arising from the regulator, and they are very very complex requirements, and they have to be met at a shortest time frame. So we are looking at running the various jobs in parallel, and breaking the entire requirement into small modules, and running all those modules in parallel, and making the data available, or the final rendering of the data available to the regulator at a shortest time. That is one. The second is in terms of the data security, as Vimal mentioned. So we are ensuring that the entire data during the transmission to the cloud as well as on the cloud must be encrypted all the time using our own keys, as well as the right access levels are being provided, apart from having the just the Snowflake based or the data cloud based security infrastructure. The cloud should have our own security infrastructure as well, which makes as the various attacks and various attack vectors could be addressed using them. So they are all being built in, so that the data remains secure, as well as the entire data resides within India. So
Right.
all the availability zones of the data remain in country, as well as any kind of a resiliency needs to be built. That zone should also be remain in the Indian geography, and no data server logs, no server logs should be getting transmitted outside the geographic boundary of the country. So all those precautions in terms of meeting the regulatory requirements in expedited manner, these are taken along with that.
Understood. But mobilizing sensitive data across financial services teams and organizations also, and is a very challenging sort of thought. What do organizations need to keep in mind, and what best practices do you follow here, Mr. Bhasin?
So maybe some part of repetition. I think again the data isolation levels need to be defined. Right from the data source levels. If whether they belong to the organization A or organization B, or MIA A or MIA B, and as well as what level of access controls for the various levels of users need to be provided, that needs to be kept in the mind. So the access and isolation level controls, number one. Number two, the data encryption and data security during transmission at rest must be taken into account. And third is ensuring that each organization is storing the data as per the regulatory needs, that within the geographic boundaries of the country, as well as encrypting. If you want to go to highest level of isolation, highest level of security, using BYOD, using your own key, that is one of the key. These are the top three requirements I would recommend for ensuring the secure solution on the data cloud to be built in, as well as when the APIs come in. So again, there the APIs have the various access level controls, and the authorization levels need to be built in. So access control as well as authorization framework must be built in for the exposing any data APIs or data distribution hub, must be having that into account, so that you know who is accessing data, what amount of data is accessing from, what level of data, whether he's authorized to access or not. So all that should be built in the data distribution hubs.
Understood. Vimal, I want to sort of get your inputs on the same question that I threw to Mr. Basin, which is on, what do organizations need to keep in mind? But also, in terms of data access and sharing, how does the data cloud power quant research and trading workloads?
So today, our data cloud enables quant trading teams to focus on trade execution quality and generating alpha instead of maintaining data pipelines across multiple silos. Now, when we talk about seamless data onboarding, aggregation, and also sharing capabilities, these enable traders today to quickly leverage real-time and historic pricing and execution data along with other first-party and third-party data sets to run queries, build algorithms, backtest, and power analytics and rule-based automation. And just to reiterate and touch base upon what Shiv just said as well, a lot of this needs to be done securely. Actually, the whole of it needs to be done securely. And we are absolutely capable of delivering this securely to all of our customers. Reiterate, we have encryption at both flight and rest. We ensure the highest levels of security for financial services customers to bring their own encryption key. We have complete residency for data within India as well. And we also really help customers drive this conversation around regulatory reporting by secure data sharing.
Right. That brings me to my last question here to Mr. Basin. What will financial services of the future look like with cloud?
See, I think the cloud has a very promising future for the financial services, given that the technology transformation cycles are getting reduced, and financial services have to go more and more on the containerized technology frameworks, be it as a application area or the data area, and where they have a auto scaling enabled based on the growth in the volume. And given our Indian BFSI market is concerned, we are a young nation, and we are continuing to be a young nation for a long, long time. And our economy has to go from the single trillion dollar USD to the triple digit trillion dollar USD. So that is the kind of a runway we have ahead of us. And given such growth projections, definitely cloud will accelerate the innovations and bringing the more digitization in the BFSI, and it will definitely provide the like auto scaling, auto healing, resiliency, fault tolerance, as well as ensuring always on, and that is very, very key in terms of the digital transformation. Whatever we are providing, it is resilient, it is fault tolerant, it is always available, it meets the expectation of the end users or end consumers, as well as the data cloud is definitely is the reality, because the data growths are happening in an exponential rate, and managing multiple petabytes or zettabytes of data on premise is going to be definitely hugely difficult task for the various life cycle events of any data which we store.
On that note, thank you, Shiv, and thank you, Vimal, for that insightful and fruitful discussion. We hope our audience enjoyed this conversation. Goodbye and stay safe.
Forbes India presents Reimagining Enterprises with Data Cloud, partnered with Snowflake. Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.